All right, we will reconvene this meeting. I do want to mention that Trustee Barrios has joined us and Trustee Cound will not be here this evening. So we will start with our land acknowledgement. We recognize that the Mount Diablo Unified School District sits on the territory of the Confederated Villages of the Lishawn, the ancestral and unceded land of the Bamiwak and Northern Yokut, the successors of the sovereign Verona Band of Contra Costa County. As members of the MDUSD community, it is vitally important that we not only recognize the history of the land on which we learn, but also we recognize that the land we inhabit and learn on is the ancestral land of these people who are alive and flourishing members of MDUSD and broader Bay Area communities today. You may stand for the pledge. Okay, so we're reviewing potential approval of minutes for the regular board meeting held March 27th, 2024. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve the minutes.
I'll second that.
Thank you. That's a motion from Trustee Nsaidwi and a second from Trustee Mason. Trustee Barrios, how do you vote?
Yes.
That motion passes 4-0 with concurrence from our student board member. Okay. So we move to review and potential approval of the agenda. Dr. Clark, are there any changes you're suggesting this evening?
No changes, Madam President.
I'll make a motion that we accept the agenda as presented. Second.
Motion from Trustee Mayo, motion from Trustee Mason, second from Trustee Mayo. We have a lot of M's on this up here. Trustee Barrios, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay, that motion passes 4-0 with concurrence from our student board member. So we move on to the report out of action taken in closed session. So for negotiations, the board may discuss negotiations or provide direction to its representatives regarding represented employees pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6. The board received information. For 7.2, discipline, dismissal, release, or reassignment of public employee. Government Code Section 54957B1. The board, in closed session, the board considered the reassignment of one certificated administrative employee under Education Code. Yeah, I'm having a battery issue over here, so sorry for that. That's what the pause was. One certificated administrative employee under Education Code Section 44951 and voted by a vote of 4 in favor. That's Trustees Mason, Mayo, and Nsaidwi and McFerrin, and 0 against. Trustee Cound was absent. To direct the district to send notice that they will be released or and reassigned at the end of the 2023 to 2024 school year from their certificated administrative positions. And then for 7.3, the board met in closed session and by a vote of 4-0 with Trustee Cound absent, voted to reject the liability claim for damages pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.95 by claimant Taylor Gosney against the Mount Diablo Unified School District. And that concludes our report out on closed session. So we move to public comment. Do we have, so public comment, the public may address the board regarding any item not on the agenda. Public comment will also be allowed on each specific agenda item prior to board action thereon. And we generally give about 3 minutes for public comment. I'm seeing a very small audience tonight and 1 public comment. So we, of course, can spend 3 minutes. So our first speaker, is Tatiana Leskowitz.
I'm here to talk about inter-district transfers. You have a board policy that states that you will have a public lottery for the inter-district transfers, which parents are allowed to observe. And I have observed my kids in the last 2 years, and I don't think that what is happening with your student services meets the definition of a public lottery. Now, let me explain. Before COVID, you were told, bring your student number and you can watch as the lottery unfolds. I would bring my student number. I'd get it from Aries. I'd get it from my school. Come there. There's a spreadsheet. They would do a random function, move things around, and I could tell where my kid ended up. If the screen was too large, I could go up and I say, here's my student number. Please tell me what placement they're at. And that's what happened beforehand. And the few times I was there, I observed that student services forgot a student, at which point parents said, hey, you forgot a student, or the priority is not right, or whatever it is. Well, when I came 2 years ago, it was Zoom, post-COVID, I assume. And instead of student number, there was a lottery number. I've never heard of a lottery number. It's a number just for the lottery to tie it to my student. But nobody told me what it is. And nobody informed me that I needed it. But my fault. Next year, I was early. I emailed, can I please have my lottery number or lottery ID number so I know who my kid is? And they said, no, we don't assign those until the day of the lottery. Nothing. So I attend the lottery and then I say, hey, I remember in the good old days, we could ask, you know, hey, afterwards, can you tell me what my kid is? Because I want to know. What if you change the priority? What happens? And they said, no, we can't. It's a public forum. We don't disclose this. They did record this, by the way. So I guess it is public in that way, except they never posted the video. So I don't know. I emailed them later and they sent me a name, a number, where I am. So I have no idea what happened. Is this a lottery? Is it not a lottery? Well, let's say you forgot a student like it used to be. Now you can't speak up. And if you email them, they're like, oh, well, we'll just add them to the bottom. And you'll never know. Or maybe, and I don't want to say this happens, but it could. Somebody says, oh, well, my friend is on the bottom, so maybe I'll just change the bottom and the top, and nobody will know because all you have is lottery ID numbers that nobody can tie to anything. So I would please ask you to talk to student services and maybe email them out. Clayton Valley, and I know you don't like Clayton Valley, but Clayton Valley emails it out before the lottery. And my school, Mount Diablo School, emails out the grades for my individual child. So I know you have the capability. You just need to do it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Okay. So that moves us to communications. Do we have any speakers on? Okay. So we move to recognitions and resolutions. Dr. Clark?
Thank you, Madam President. Tonight we are fortunate to bring before this board Resolution 23/24-59 in recognition of Earth Day and a call to action on climate change. Whereas the global impact, urgency, and magnitude of the challenge of addressing climate change calls for leadership in all sectors of society, all institutions, and all elected leaders. And whereas 97% of scientists agree that climate change is real and human-induced. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Mount Diablo Unified School District Board of Education hereby recognizes April 22nd, 2024 as Earth Day, reaffirming our commitment to be a part of climate change solutions and to educate our students about climate change. And be it further resolved that the Mount Diablo Unified School District Board of Education calls on all elected leaders to take expedient and bold action on climate change to protect and preserve current and future generations, and that this resolution be distributed to all schools within the district. Madam President, this resolution is now in the hands of the board.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the resolution 23/24, number 59, in recognition of Earth Day. And it just jumped on me.
Second.
Okay, that's a motion from trustee Mason and a second from trustee Mayo. Trustee Barrios, how do you vote?
Yes.
Went to 7.1. There we go.
Okay, that motion passes 4-0 with concurrence from our student board member. Or sorry, 4 in favor, 1 absent, and concurrence from our student board member, I should say. Okay, so all right, this is exciting. So we move to some public employee appointments.
Yes, so Madam President, we have 11.1. We have HR leader, Kim Viana. She is going to introduce our first candidate.
Oh, green. There we go. Good evening, Dr. Clark and Board of Trustees. The Human Resources Department is bringing for the board's review and potential approval of the appointment of Linda Flynn as principal of Bancroft Elementary School. Linda is an experienced educator that has dedicated her life to teaching and learning. She has both been teaching in Massachusetts as well as California. She has currently been a principal at Bella Vista Elementary School in Oakland for the past 9 years. Linda holds a bachelor's degree in elementary education and a master's degree in educational leadership. She is a proud mother of 3 children. She enjoys her time outdoors along with her husband, her dog, family, and friends, and always rejuvenates her spirit through that. Linda is very excited to return to Mount Diablo Unified School District and to join the Bancroft Elementary School community. And with that, I leave the appointment in the hands of the board.
Madam President, I move the board approve the appointment of Linda Flynn as principal at Bancroft Elementary School. I'm sorry. Do I need to repeat it? Madam President, I move that the board approve the appointment of Linda Flynn as principal of Bancroft Elementary School.
Second.
Thank you. The trustee Mayo made the motion. Trustee Nsewi seconded. Trustee Barrios, how do you vote?
Yes.
Welcome. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Clark, and to the Mount Diablo Unified School District Board. I look forward to returning to Mount Diablo Unified School District. I think there's some Bancroft people.
Oh, good. Very nice.
And standing on the shoulders of those that came before me. So thank you so much.
Do you have someone here you'd like to introduce?
Yes, I brought my child. Thank you. Good looking at you.
Yes.
A longtime friend and former colleague from my time teaching in Mount Diablo, now principal
Yeah.
Thomas. is here
Great.
with me. So
Thank
so
you.
much.
Well, welcome. All right, Madam President, we have item 11.2, and we have Kim Viana, who will present our next candidate.
Good evening again. The Human Resources Department is bringing for the board's review and potential approval the appointment of Lavert Griffin as principal of College Park High School. Mr. Griffin brings over a decade of experience in education, having taught high school math and CTE courses before transitioning as a successful 6-year tenure in high school administration. He has served as an assistant principal in diverse communities. And at this time, he is also recognized as a student-centered leader. He's deeply committed to collaborating with the community, stakeholders, empowering teacher leaders, and ensuring equitable opportunities for student success. He holds a bachelor's degree in science, technology, and society from Stanford University and a master's in educational leadership and school development. Outside of his professional endeavors, he is a devoted husband and a proud father of 2 daughters. And with that, I leave the appointment in the hands of the board.
Despite his affiliation with Stanford, I'm go Bears. I move that we accept the appointment of Laverne Griffin to principal at College Park.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion from trustee Nzewin, a second from trustee Mason. Trustee Barrios, how do you vote?
Yes.
Right.
Thank you, Dr. Clark and the Mount Diablo Board. I'm excited to be selected to lead at College Park High School. I'm looking forward to working with the students, the staff, and the community members. Thank you.
And do you have someone to introduce?
So I'm here with my wife. My 2 daughters are hopefully in bed by now, but
Okay, good.
she's here supporting me, and she is making it possible for me to do this. So
Great.
thank you.
Welcome. Thank you. All right, Madam President, we have item 11.3, and again, we have Ms. Viana, who will present our third candidate.
Hello. The Human Resources Department is bringing for the board's review and potential approval the appointment of Amy Monahan as principal of the Fair Oaks Elementary School. Amy's career in education began in 2015. She's taught both middle school and elementary. And throughout this time, Amy has had the opportunity to work with a variety of communities at various grade levels. Amy transitioned into her current administrative role, in which she has the distinct opportunity to serve our focal scholars as the CSACE Operational Program Specialist. Most recently, Amy currently is the interim principal at El Monte Elementary School. In these roles, Amy has learned to lead with passion, equity, and a strong dedication to leave the system better than we found it. Amy holds a bachelor's degree in liberal studies and a master's degree in curriculum and instruction. Outside of work, Amy enjoys spending time with her husband, bonus kids, and dogs. They enjoy a lot of outdoor items, camping, spending time on the lake, relaxing at home. She's thrilled and honored to serve the Fair Oaks students, staff, and community in this new role. And with that, I leave the appointment in the hands of the board.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the appointment of Amy Montague as the principal of Fair Oaks Elementary School.
Second.
Motion from trustee Mason and a second from trustee Mayo. Trustee Barrios, how do you vote?
Yes.
Good evening. Dr. Clark, members of the board, I want to thank you for this honor and opportunity. I'm thrilled to continue my service in Mount Diablo, extra excited to work with the students and staff and community at Fair Oaks. And before you ask, I want to thank my wonderful and supportive husband, who is always by my side along with my kids and my extended family throughout the state. So thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Madam President, that concludes our employee appointments. We are extremely excited about these 3 and what they will bring to the students within our district. And I appreciate the board's support on this. We'll let folks go out and take pictures and do what they need to do, unless they want to stay for the rest of the meeting. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That door, Clausen. Should you flip out that door? Thank you.
Okay, so with that, we move to board reports. I think that we started with trustee Mason last time. Okay, trustee Mason confirms. So trustee Nze, we do have a report this evening.
It was spring break. And then we had forced family fun in my household. So no, I do not have a report. Oh, but I actually did. No, I remember now. So I learned there's on my side of the social media, there's a campaign called We Believe, and it's We Believe in Education. And so, like when I found out it's like National Dog Day or National this day, I found out it's this week is National Library Week. Which who knew, Laura? Like who knew? I know. But what it was bringing up was just the importance of libraries, but the importance of us all to have access to all the things, and our children to have access to all the things. And I just wanted to bring that up, and that at least in, here, we proudly have access to all the things in our libraries, our public libraries, our school libraries, our teachers' bookshelves and whatnot. So I'm glad for that. And that's it. Thank you. Welcome back from spring break. We're on the home stretch of school. To all the parents and children out there, we'll do it.
Trustee Barrios, you look like you know you're next.
Well, like Trustee Nze said, it was spring break, so doing a whole lot of nothing. So yeah, but I never got to talk about how I went to Loma Vista, the adult school, and I never knew that was a thing. Like I always passed by there when I was a kid, and I'm like, I wonder what that is. And I think it's such a great opportunity that I don't think like a lot of kids know about, because they're like, oh, like older people go to like get an education. But like I was thinking about going because like it's such a good opportunity and like a good alternative of like not getting a huge degree.
Adults are 18.
Well, yeah, but I mean like older people, like 30, 40. But yeah. I think it's a good opportunity that a lot of more kids need to know about. And that's mostly it.
Because you were on spring break at the last meeting, we got a great presentation from the adult school and learned about their EMT program. So you missed that. So you should go watch the recording.
I did see I went to Loma Vista and we saw the EMT class, and that's literally the class I wanted to go to. Oh my gosh.
I don't think you're going to make it out of here without Victoria grabbing you in the back there. She probably has enrollment papers in her purse or in her bag. I know, right? So, yeah, so thank you for that report.
Always prepared. Trustee Mayo, do you have a report this evening?
I just want to share, to follow up on your comment about adult education, every household in the Mount Diablo School District receives the catalog for course of study for twice a year. So students go through your parents' mail that they drop in the recycling bin, because there's an excellent opportunity to see everything that's available, especially in the CTE area, which provides you an opportunity to get some of those certificates at a much less expensive rate than going to the programs where you would get those certificates. So thank you for shouting out about adult ed. And it's one of the hidden jewels in the Mount Diablo School District. I wanted to share that on April 17th, the Community Advisory Committee is holding a celebration of success for our special education students. We're celebrating 39 students from throughout Mount Diablo School District. And anyone, whether you have a special education student or not, is welcome to attend. And when you do come, please bring a hanky, because you will be moved greatly by the accomplishments of the students. The event will be held at Concord High School. The social hour starts at 6 p.m. and the program begins at 6:45 p.m. And the Special Education Committee will be participating in the Special Education SELPA Legislation Lobby Day on May 1st in Sacramento. So watch for social media and see us pounding the streets there in Sacramento and offices. On the CAC parents also indicated last night their support for AB 2222 by Rubio. It's the Comprehensive Early Literacy. And this bill is being held right now. So if you review the legislation on your, going to wherever you like to go to look up bills, please consider contacting the Assembly Education Chair and request that the bill be scheduled for hearing by the Assembly Education Committee. This is an important effort, and the CAC committee would appreciate your support if you want to consider it. Thank you.
Trustee Mason?
It was spring break.
So spring break for me as well. And I enjoyed my time, and this is really a time when it's exciting to kind of wrap things up for this year and to look forward to next year. And so I just wish everyone the best of luck with the remainder of the school year. And that's all I have to say this evening. Dr. Clark, do you have a report this evening?
I do have a report, a short report. Let's see, let's pop it up there to keep me on track here. So so we have our LCAP goals, and I know I've been speaking about these just relentlessly during the years that I'm here, but actually this year we're actually updating them all. And so I want to recognize our Ed Services team for the work that they're doing in revamping our goals. We've sent out surveys to all of our students, or at least secondary students, and parents and all employees. And we've received a great deal of feedback and responses on these goals and on the actions within our LCAP. So I'll be excited to when the new LCAP goals are presented and potentially approved by this board. But in the meantime, we're still pushing forward with these, and hopefully throughout my report you'll see some you'll see some of our goals mixed into what some of our students and staff are doing throughout the district. And we're improving so much in Mount Diablo that we're starting to our time with CCE is kind of dwindling a little bit. I do have to go meet on Monday with the special CCE group up in Sacramento, and so I'll kind of get a better understanding of where we stand. But we've really made a great deal of progress, and I want to thank all of our principals. I want to thank our teachers, the teams who have really taken the feedback. It always helps to have an outside set of eyes come and look at our systems and processes. And what we're looking at is systemic change. We have great things that often happen in pockets, but how can we ensure that every single student in every single classroom is getting high quality instruction with the best materials under the best strategies? And so hopefully we don't have to redesign this, but changes are coming. So I'm just giving you guys a fair warning. I wanted to take a moment and recognize Diablo V Middle School. I know I mentioned it before, but they have been designated as a California Distinguished School. I want to recognize the leadership of Principal Vicki Wilson there and that staff. They have a longtime staff there. There's not a lot of turnover at that site, and so this is great recognition for the work that they're doing. And they just hung that banner. So I wanted to share that and continue to give them their kudos for creating a safe and high quality learning environment for all of our students. So I wanted to take a moment and just kind of call out food services again. When I was a kid and I'd bring home the lunch menu that was being served, it was basically like grilled cheese, spaghetti, things like that. But nowadays, I mean, this is our middle and high school lunch menu, and you can see all those colored checks on there. And just so people know, I'll read them. If you have a green check, it means that it's house made. So that's made in-house. If it's a red check, it comes from a local local product. If it is if it's a blue check or a purple check, I can't really see, but it's whole grain. A yellow check is organic, a red check is grass fed, a blue check is vegetarian, and a dark blue check is vegan. And so you can see through our meals what you know, which of those is checked off. And so you know, I just can't give them enough kudos for putting together something like this. So this is what our middle and high schoolers eat, and you know, with them eating, it's always hit and miss, but hopefully we have some very you know, we have some conscious connoisseurs, and they want to know what they're eating, they want to know what's in their food. And so here is what we've done to respond to that. And also parents. And then this is what, you know, this did not look like the menu I brought home when I was a child, but here's what it looks like on an elementary lunch menu. And so instead of checks, we have dots. And so you can see the key over on the left under notes. But again, you know, seasonal salads, seasonal salad bar, even that alone, like right in our elementary school salad bar, fruits and vegetables offered daily, low fat or non-fat milk offered daily, and so on and so on. And it really lists all the different local farms and you know, produce places that we use that are local. So all that's right there on the menu. So just big kudos to the food service department, Teamsters, and under the leadership of the director there. So then if you want to see it in action, this is right before spring break, and this is a 5th grade barbecue over at Meadow Homes. And so our food service department comes and puts this out. So this is all just, you know, this is what you would get kind of in the cafeteria, but they've organized it for a you know, for a 5th grade barbecue. So so you can see the kids enjoying that, and you know, what better way to kick off kind of going off into spring break. So we had the fortunate of coming back from spring break and coming back to an eclipse, and there were people around the country who spent thousands and thousands of dollars, and this eclipse like boosted the economy of whoever was in the path of the eclipse. But also, I mean, it's a great opportunity for our students to be engaged with the sciences and astronomy and things like that, and looking at you know, looking at stars, the moon. I know you know, as young people, when you think about the solar system and think about that, sometimes it's just overwhelming. But we want more young people to get involved in this. And so I shared just some pictures that we pulled off some of our school sites of what they're doing. And I was very, very pleased to see all the young people with the correct glasses and whatnot. But like, look at that. That's engagement. That's hands-on real life learning. So there's one picture. And then we took this, and on the picture on the left, in the bottom left-hand corner, that's the eclipse in Mexico. And so parts of Mexico and Texas and whatnot, and up the middle of the United States was in the direct path. And so you can see the full eclipse. And then you have students who are watching it. That's not the astronauts speaking to our students, as much as I, you know, would like that experience, but they were broadcasting live from outer space or whatnot. And so just look at that. That's in our classrooms. And so you got the hands-on learning outside, and then you have, you know, you have hands-on learning inside. When I was in the 4th grade was when and you could do the math, I'm 55. So whenever that was, it was some time ago. I guess I'd be old in Trustee Barrios's definition, but I remember, you know, when the eclipse came, and my teacher was so excited about it, and we were, you know, making stuff. We didn't have the fancy glasses like they had. We were using plates and all kinds of stuff. But this is something that truly, I believe, will stick with our young people throughout the years and whatnot. And just what a great way to kind of kick off the you know, the coming back from spring break with this, you know, natural scientific thing that took place. I'm gonna call out Gregory Gardens and just their leadership over there. So we do these resolutions or whatnot, and so this is, you know, I know we're in this political climate where there's so much divisiveness and stuff, but like, this is all that we're talking about, is just like, let's learn about other people. Let's learn about other cultures. Let's learn about other traditions and practices and whatnot. And this is it in real life. And so this is, you know, the festival that they had, of the Festival of the Colors. I want to be respectful. I don't know how to pronounce the HOLI. I mean, I would assume it's Holly, but I don't want to be disrespectful and mispronounce it or whatnot. But you can see that on the right there, you have some students in traditional wear, but then on the left, you have just other students. And this is like what students need to do, is just learn about other cultures and whatnot. And then they have that imprint in their brains as they're growing and learning more and more about the world and different people. So I really just want to give a heads up to Gregory Gardens, because they really have made that a safe environment for this stuff. And then the next picture is, this is Gregory Gardens again, and this is students organize this activity to celebrate the end of Ramadan. And so, you know, here you have students who organize this, right? And they wanted to share, you know, their tradition, and looks like they have some good treats there that they're sharing with their classmates and whatnot. And again, it's just a way to learn about other cultures and things to that nature. So I, you know, really thankful of the direction that this board has given us in really setting the example by adopting resolutions and, you know, making it okay for folks to learn about other cultures and other traditions. I think it's very important for our young people. I also just before the break, I mean, there was just lots going on, but I did want to highlight this. Northgate High School put on their Wellness Day, and it's an annual activity that they have there, and teachers offer a variety of workshops to, you know, work with students about you know, learning coping mechanisms and just understanding the importance of wellness. You know, there's a lot of pressure on our you know, on our high school students, 9th through 12th grade. At every grade level, there's different types of pressure, but they're under pressure. And I think the more that we work with them, and really part of that education process is learning how to put things in perspective, learning how to have balance, learning how to talk and support one another. In this particular keynote, his message to the students was about having one another's back and really like taking care of your fellow students. And the unique thing about this young man who's speaking is he was a D1 basketball player, and he only has one arm. So if you look, his left arm is not there after the elbow. And so he came out and spoke to the students at Northgate. And they had other keynote speakers for that day, but I did just want to highlight that and you know, give them their kudos for putting student wellness and health as a priority. So don't count the days, make the days count. We have 37 days until the end of the 23-24 academic year. So you know, we're like, there's a lot to get done still in those 37 days. We have, you know, lots to do. We got, you know, we got those piles that we all want to get to. We got those projects that we all wanted to get to. You know, our students need each and every day to get everything they can from their teachers and from their classmates and whatnot. So so just wanted to highlight that we just take advantage of the time we have, and it's only, you know, it's only 37 days, and it'll go extra quick for our seniors, for our freshmen, for our kindergartners, sixth graders, you know, everyone going through transitions from one grade to another. So I just wanted to highlight, and again, thank everyone for working together to you know, to really mentor our young people and provide this high quality, excellent education for each and every one of them. So that concludes my report, and we'll be looking at those days and making the most of it. Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Clark. So that moves us to the consent agenda. Are there any items that anyone would like to pull for discussion on the consent agenda? And if not, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion. We approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Just as there can be discussion after a motion and second. I want to recognize we have Dr. McCain and we have Mr. Pike in the audience, and one of the items in there is the Yonder Packs, and it's there's been a lot of research about the effect of cell phones on our young people, and so we already have Olympic that has implemented the Yonder Packs, and also I don't know why I'm coming up with a blank. Thank you. Prospects is also implemented them, and just the process. I just want to assure this board that this is not a punitive thing that we're doing with our kids. We really want our students to engage deeper in class, engage deeper with their colleagues, with their classmates, with the school experience. As as our student trustee will tell us, that senior year comes and then it's over with, and sometimes we miss things along the way. And so I had extensive meetings with both Dr. McCain and Mr. Pike about their rollout plan, and they have a very detailed plan, and they've answered all the questions: what to do in an emergency, what to do if parents need to get in touch with their students, what to do if assignments need to be done, what to do if a student has some sort of anxiety and can't give up their phone. We've covered all those bases, and I'm confident that they will implement this with an empathetic eye for something that will hopefully help our students enjoy their time a little bit more. So I don't want to stop the motion and second and all that, but did want to highlight that.
If my memory serves, I think it was a motion from trustee Mason and a second from trustee Nzewi. Trustee Barrios, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay, and so that passes 4-0 with concurrence from our student board member. Okay. All right, so
I know they wanted to talk, but it's all right. Thank you. Let me get there. Let me get here. Let's see. 17.1, review and potential approval of job description for Executive Director of Maintenance, Operations, and Facilities.
All right, so what we have is a new job description. I have a PowerPoint to kind of highlight some of the things we're looking to accomplish by consolidating our director positions into one executive director position. So we strive to streamline the leadership and then consolidate the oversight, which will help our planning come under one umbrella. We're hoping to reduce our redundancy and then enhance our focus. Consolidation is designed not only for operational efficiency, but to ensure that the leadership is more unified and aligned. And this is critical just to our long-term planning and the district-wide initiatives, i.e. the bond, but also just the day-to-day operations and maintenance and operations. And again, we're looking to streamline our operations and improve the coordination between maintenance and facility projects, and simplify the decision-making process and make it more straightforward. And of course, combining the roles, we're looking to reduce overhead costs by eliminating duplication. We feel like that'll be a more efficient organizational structure. And then any savings that we do see will be redirected. I do have a slide at the end that talks about more upcoming changes. But just to give you an example, this year we didn't fill those director positions, or the one director position. So we're looking at roughly about a $20,000 savings to the unrestricted general fund. Some of those positions are funded with bond dollars, but we did get a consultant to do that work. So I can't really say we have savings on that, but at least for the general fund, we're looking at about 20,000 this year. And again, it's just in alignment with our long-term goals. And, I think what basically the PowerPoint stresses is that we're basically codifying the work that's been happening for about a year and a half. So with that, we just feel like streamlining this will make us more efficient. But like I said, we're just codifying what is currently happening. And then just with one position, it'll increase accountability. And then again, just provide clearer oversight. And then, as I stated earlier, with this change, we'll be looking at bringing back some more structural changes. And so we'll be looking at somewhat like an assistant director, but also looking at our support staff and how they support maintenance operations and facilities as a whole, and just making sure that we, provide the necessary support to get those areas working efficiently. So with that, I can take any questions, but we're just looking for approval for the job description.
I move to approve the job description for Executive Director, Maintenance Operations and Facilities.
Second.
Motion from trustee Nzewi and a second from trustee Mayo. Trustee Barrios, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay, so that motion passes 4-0 with
Thank you.
concurrence from our student board member. Thank you. Okay, do we, so for 17.2, do we have someone that's going to introduce this item or?
No, I think, we're just looking for approval. There's not a presentation with it, but, review approval of updated salary schedule for adult education program coordinators and increased work year calendar. And we do, Victoria is here to answer any questions if you might have it,
Okay.
if you have questions.
I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to approve the updated salary schedule for adult education program coordinators and increased work year calendar.
Second.
Motion from trustee Mason and a second from trustee Mayo. Trustee Barrios, how do you vote?
Yes.
All right, and that motion passes 4-0 with concurrence from our student board member.
Thank you very much. We greatly appreciate it. I would like to just say something about this group. It's a small group of 7 coordinators. These are our certificated instructors who have a leadership role. It is not a management role. It is a lead role for coordinating our various program areas, which are authorized under CDE. And these individuals work tirelessly. We had reductions in the great aftermath of 2008-9. It's been a while since we've been able to bring this forward. With gratitude to Dr. Clark and many of our wonderful changes and advancements in the district since your arrival. I want to thank also to a special shout out to our new CBO, Adrian Vargas, who has embraced is learning about adult education and helped put this forward, and to Ryan Sheehy, who has become our go-to along with Kim for many things in HR. So we are very grateful. It looks like a small amount. We are going to continue to work toward increasing. We are in a good fiscal situation. I served for over 8 years now as our state legislative chair. So today we had our Ledge Day. So thank you again also for the resolution. I shared it with Assembly Member Tim Grayson. He sent his regards to the district and the board. He was very thankful. We had students and teachers there. It was a wonderful time. And also with Senator Glazer, we had a good event. So we are on the recovery from the last few years, and things are looking really up and up. And this is a tremendous boost to this particular group who are so integral to our program. So thank you.
Okay, so we move to 17.3, review and potential approval of the revised 2024 to 2025 school year. So this, oops.
For presentation, but I do want Mr. Sheehy just to talk about the process of how we develop the calendar. Like, it's not done in a vacuum, it's not done in isolation. So he can share much more about that briefly.
Yes, thank you. So the calendar, as you know, came before the board previously, and that calendar was developed after taking community input, community and staff feedback, as well as meeting with all the bargaining units. We sit down or we share it with the bargaining units, and if they'd like to ask any questions, we have the dialogue and go back and forth. And so that came to you. The board had approved it. The district did at that time have a desire to decrease the amount or to align our conference schedule, our elementary conference schedule, to districts around us. And we did notify our teacher union about that, and they requested to bargain it. So we did sit down at the table with them to discuss the 10 current conference days and looking at possibly aligning that to districts around us. We did come to an agreement with our teachers union, and that's why it's coming back to you tonight, and where we did take those 10 days down to 8 days. We have the same amount of minutes across the board for all of our teachers to meet with parents and to really look at that. And through that process, there was a desire to look at the timing and the location of the conferences. Previously on the previous schedule, it fell right in line with the fall break. In conversations with our labor partners, and also looking and researching it with our elementary school principals, we came to an agreement to move it to September 16th through September 25th next school year. As we mentioned earlier when the calendar came to the board, this is a pilot this year. As we have the fall break, we will be sending out more surveys after the fall break to get input as we build hopefully a 2-year calendar cycle moving forward, and seeing how this year's calendar works.
Thank you for sharing the process. Anybody who's been coming to me knows I'm all about process.
Yes.
And I just want to say that we've started to get letters, but at least for myself, I try to respect the process. This was the teachers in the district coming together, making this agreement. Like you said, it's a trial year. So if there's a lot of teachers or parents that really don't like it, they should talk about it. And then when they negotiate the next calendar, work out any kinks. But that's why I will be supporting it, because I support the process.
Thank you.
I move that we approve the revised 24-25 school year calendar.
Second that.
Motion from trustee Nzewi and a second from trustee Mason. Trustee Barrios, how do you vote?
Yes. And I want to say that I am jealous that these kids are going to get it, but I'm glad I'm not going to be here to stick around for the yonder pouches. So.
All right, and that motion passes 4-0 with concurrence from our student board member. Okay, so we move to 17.4, review and potential approval of a new membership application for the CAC. Then I'm assuming there's no report on this. Okay, so we can just take a motion.
Is the individual in the audience tonight? Is the individual in the audience tonight? Okay. I move that the board approve the Veronica Lovell to the as a member of the CAC committee.
I'll second that.
Motion from trustee Mayo and second from trustee Mason. Trustee Barrios, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we that motion passes 4-0 with concurrence from our student board member. Okay, so all right, so we move on to more updating of policies. And this is an action item. Do we kind of have any, I know that we've looked over these before. Do we have any kind of comments or questions or a motion?
I move that we approve changes to board policies and administrative regulations per California School Board Association recommendations, September 23rd quarterly update. Sorry, September 2023 quarterly update.
I'll second that.
A motion from trustee Nzaywi and a second from trustee Mason. Trustee Barrios, how do you vote?
Yes.
Passes unanimously with concurrence from our student board member. Okay, and then we have an information item just on some additional changes to board policies for 17.6. Have any, I know we get to kind of email our questions in advance as well, but are there any questions about these? No? So these will be brought back for action at a later meeting. Okay. All right, we have no items carried over, so I am going to go ahead and adjourn this meeting. Thank you for being here.